In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Stipula Faceted Etruria Red Currant fountain pen. I'll go over the specs, I will do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links to the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. This is the Stipula Faceted Etruria in this red currant color here. I really like this pen. The retail price of this pen is $995, which is a lot. The trim is solid sterling silver, and it is a piston filler. Now, I was able to get this as an Amazon special for $288. These are limited to, I believe, 88 pieces. This is actually numbered, if we look here, number 1 of 88. So I've got number 1 here. I think it's quite a good looking pen. Some people really don't like the look of this pen, but I really like it. I love red, and this is just a very, very pretty resin here. It has 8 facets. This is the faceted version of the Etruria, and it is a piston filler. Now, it's a typical kind of torpedo-y shape here. We have 6 solid sterling silver cap rings, and then we have the usual Stipula hallmarked sterling silver clip here with the straw on there. Quite a nice looking pen. And then it does say Stipula made in Italy here, and again we have that number 1 of 88. So very, very nice looking pen. And it is threaded, threading again towards the end of the grip section here. And we have a relatively tight, I would say, grip section. I do find it comfortable, although a lot of the times I have been noticing I'm touching the threading here, which does kind of make an indentation in my fingers. Maybe I'm just gripping it too hard, but anyway, I would say it's pretty comfortable. You do have to kind of mind where you put your fingers. They don't give you a lot of choice for that like you get on some other pens, like an Aurora, for instance. We have a 18 karat gold Stipula nib here. These are made using the Globus machinery, so these are in-house nibs, plastic feed. Very, very nice. This is the 0.9 millimeter italic. Very soft nib, really, really excellent writer. Piston knob here, you can see it's probably not lined up perfectly. It's a reverse turn, so the opposite of every other piston filling system. So just be mindful of that. There's no ink window here, but this does hold a good amount of ink. Oh, the other thing, the one thing I don't like about this pen, so, well, there's 2 things I don't like about it. So see this, the inside of the cap here is lined in metal, so it's actually quite heavy, and there's threading in there, metal threading, which goes against plastic threading, and a lot of the times I don't always get it right, and it just doesn't feel very nice, like it's not catching properly. But usually it does work. I haven't had any reliability issues with this. I've had this pen for a few months now, and I mean, there's no like indication that the threading is going to stop working in the future. I don't know that for sure. So, all right, let's do the measurements. Looking here, we have roughly 148. It's a big pen, like the other Etrurias I've reviewed on this channel, and about 130 uncapped. Posted, it does post pretty nicely, but because of all the metal in that cap, I find it to be too top heavy most of the time. About 172 millimeters. Now in terms of the grip section, we're gonna go kind of in the middle here. 10.4 is the narrowest, and then it flares out quite a lot. 11. Nice size grip section. They just don't give you a lot of places to put your fingers, unfortunately. So, I don't notice discomfort because of the threading, but I have noticed after I've done writing that there was an indentation there from it. So it might be uncomfortable for some people. Now, in terms of the weight, this thing does have a pretty substantial feel here. Yeah, 44.86 grams. That is a lot. And then uncapped, 26, which is a much more comfortable weight for everyday writing. Now, in terms of comparisons, size-wise, here it is with a Safari, so you can see it's a pretty big pen compared to that. Now, here it is with a 149, and the Etruria is a bit longer than it. They're almost as wide. This is for sure a proper oversized pen here. Now, it does have a number 6 nib, so, if you want a bigger nib, 149 would probably be better. So definitely a big oversized pen. For the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Mitsubishi bank paper notebook. These notebooks are really excellent with fountain pens. And for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. So this is the Stipula Faceted Etruria. And this is a 0.9 millimeter. And this is Kobe Luxury Red. Boy, am I having trouble writing today. We can do some fast writing. That's me. This pen writes really nicely. I don't really have any issues with skipping. There is some minor line variation. I wouldn't say that there's a ton here. I mean, you can see that the cross strokes here are certainly thinner than the downstrokes, but in normal writing, I don't see a huge benefit from that stub nib here. Now, it is a pretty soft nib, so you can push on this a bit and you get some nice line variation. I do really like that. Now, it's not a flex nib. They make different flex nibs. This is just their standard 18 karat gold nib, but they're really nice. And here's with no pressure. So you get a pretty huge difference there. In terms of reverse writing, it's actually relatively smooth. I don't know why you would do that on a stub, but there is definitely a difference in width there. So I would say yes, you can do reverse writing on this. Overall, I really, really like these nibs. They are very, very soft and bouncy. Again, they're in-house nibs. They bought that Globus machinery and are really making a very, very nice nib here. So what are my pros and cons for the Etruria Red Currant Faceted Fountain Pen? Well, I really like this red currant material. I think it's really, really pretty. It's a bright, shimmery red with gray and black flakes. It's a very, very attractive material. I think I even like this better than the Classic Pens Flame Red. What did I have? I think it was called an LM1, but these are pens that Lambrow, the guy that did all those amazing fountain pen books, produced. Very expensive pen. I think this material is honestly even prettier than that. I like the faceted design here. It feels very high quality. And the nibs, they bought that Globus machinery. The nibs are really, really nice. Very, very soft. Even though this isn't one of the flex ones, this one you can get some nice line variation out of it. Really, really nice writing nibs. And Stipula, like Scribo, is one of those pen companies that really puts a lot of emphasis on their nib and giving you lots of different nib options. So I really, really like that. Really appreciate that about this pen. I like the look of the trim. This might be too gaudy for some people. This pen is not a subtle pen, but I do like the 6 sterling silver rings, the nice Stipula solid sterling silver clip. It has a nice look to it. I have found this pen to be very comfortable. Uncapped, it writes very nicely. We have a good amount of ink capacity because it is a piston filler. In terms of cons, the price, $995. That's a very expensive pen. I have a hard time justifying that price. I mean, this, even though I think this material is beautiful, it is still resin at the end of the day. And, you know, we have solid sterling silver trim, which is nice. And we have a very nice in-house nib. So, I mean, an argument can be made there, but it's pretty darn expensive. I was able to get this on Amazon for $280. That's the lowest price I've seen these at, but I've seen them in the $300 and $400 range, and at that, this is a very, very nice pen. I will say that I have noticed some indentations in my fingers from writing with this for a long time now. I didn't notice it being an issue while I was using it, but for some people, you know, that might become uncomfortable. You do have a pretty tight grip section here, not a lot of options for where you can hold the pen. The threading is not my favorite. It's metal threading on the cap, and the whole cap is lined in metal, and then plastic on the body. Not necessarily a great combination. And there's sometimes when I'm putting this on here, it just, like, it doesn't want to turn. I don't know how well the threading is going to hold up in time. I also am not a huge fan of the way that the piston filling system works, because it turns opposite of every other piston filling system. So I worry about making a mistake. I don't like that. The cap is very heavy. So even though it posts nicely, it's not the most comfortable because it becomes quite top heavy. Also, for posting metal threads on a plastic body, probably not a very good idea. But that's pretty much it. The nib is really excellent. I love this material. So I have to say, I really like this pen. It's not an easy recommendation. There are a lot of caveats, but pretty nice pen overall. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.